Big game up north tonight featuring the Sixers and Joel Embiid, and it's not the knee that's part of the discussion. Maybe it was watching film on Kawhi in game one that made him queasy. Embiid missed this morning's shoot-around as he dealt with some stomach issues as they're down 0-1 against the Raptors. The Sixers' big man is listed as probable for tonight against Toronto. Brett Brown, your thoughts?
I sort of go with the flow nowadays. You know, it's... I hope. I haven't spoken with him. We got on the bus, and I was informed of that, the sickness this morning. He, as you said, he will not be with us this morning, and I really don't know much more than that.
I guess we do have to win one here eventually, you know, whether it goes to however many games it may go to. But I think we're capable of doing it.
All right, the big story over the weekend is the Raptors and their dominance, the two-headed monster in that opening game against the Sixers. Kawhi matching his career high in any game with 45 points. The only Raptor with more in a playoff game, Vince Carter's 50, also against the Sixers back in 2001. Here's the second part. Pascal Siakam, just as good, dropping 29 points, 80% shooting from the floor. Kawhi and Siakam became the first teammates in 25 years to combine for 70 points on 70% shooting in a playoff game. They were dominant. As for the Sixers, they were held to just 39% from the floor as a team, including 32% in the second half. It marked their 14th straight loss in Toronto, including the regular season. Joel Embiid held to 16 points, 5 of 18 shooting. One key to the struggles, a big man, Marc Gasol, able to keep him out of the paint. Embiid shot 0 for 6 with Gasol guarding him, forcing an average shot distance of over 11 feet. And, you know, all those questions about the knee. Now, the knee is okay. It's how his stomach feels. And there is Joel getting ready for the game tonight. Again, listed as probable. We will have an update as the hour continues here on Sportcenter. Tim Legler joining us now. What do you see and you need to see from Embiid tonight if the Sixers want to steal one in Toronto?
Play like a power player. I just thought in the first game he was off balance a lot. He was going away from the basket on his release. When he's at his best, and we've seen him at different times this year, I think back to a game against Boston 6 weeks ago when he completely dominated them because everything was going toward the rim. And look, I know they got Marc Gasol, they've got Ibaka, they've got some big guys up front, but it's really about Joel Embiid. No one is going to take a guy this good out of his comfort zone. He allows it to happen. I thought he was impatient. He bailed out on moves too soon, and he found himself in that 8 to 12-foot range, taking off-balance shots that look weak. And that's not who he is at his best. So if I'm Joel Embiid, it's a mentality. I'm taking it to them. I'm going to keep my dribble a little bit longer. I'm going to catch it deeper, and I'm going to get everything going toward the basket, get to the foul line, put pressure on Toronto to play you, because I think he helped them out in the first game.
You talk about being impatient. The opposite of that is what we saw from Kawhi Leonard. So patient, so much in control. What must the Sixers do to even contain him in this game?
You know, he's so tough because everything he does is in that mid-range, right? So he's seeing the entire floor. He's a very difficult guy to double as a result. He's always on balance. He takes his time. You just mentioned it. You can't speed him up. He gets to the place he wants to. So what's the solution? He does like to spin, okay? And there are certain places on the floor that are more advantageous to go ahead and hit him late as he starts to get into his move. And if I'm the Sixers tonight, I'm making Kyle Lowry shoot the ball 15 to 20 times. See what he can do. He's a 41% career field goal percentage shooter in the postseason. Let's see if Kyle Lowry can hurt us in that first quarter rather than allow Kawhi Leonard to get into that rhythm. So if I'm Ben Simmons, I'm guarding Kyle Lowry. You're selective. You pick times when it's advantageous to you as he starts to go into one of those spins. Run at him. Get the ball out of his hands, and let's see if some other guys can take shots early in the game, because he had easy pickings in that first quarter. Yeah. Guy like that, when he's that good, Kevin, he gets into a rhythm early, you got a real problem in your hands. And then Siakam, obviously, is a whole nother issue.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And then dare Kyle Lowry to shoot the ball. We'll see how that plays out, and Tim's going to come back later on to help explain the Celtics surge. Sage?
All right, guys, coming up, when the investigation reopened in the
Spurs.
I think he's getting a lot of new fans, by the way, with the way he's handled everything. Okay, Rockets-Warriors, this is the rematch everybody was hoping for, right? A day after a dramatic Game 1, the NBA has released its last 2-minute report, and the findings and the reaction only add fuel to the fire in this heated rivalry. Let's go back to Oracle. There are 4 plays that the league was looking at, minute 10 left in the game, and Harden dribbling along the sideline, bumped by Steph Curry and is ruled out of bounds. The report states that Curry should have been called with a foul. That would have been his 6th foul, and he would have fouled out of the game, which means that this shot would never have happened. Drilling the 3 with 25 seconds left in the game. and he was feeling himself after that one. So what a shot that extended the Warriors' lead to 5. 10 seconds left. Harden trying to tie it with the 3. Hit by Draymond Green. No foul is called. The report states this call was correct, that Draymond did not foul James Harden. After that, Chris Paul gets the rebound, tries to get it to Eric Gordon. Some contact by Steph. Gordon ruled out of bounds. Report states a foul should have been called on Steph, which would have been him fouling out again. CP3 at that point, he had had enough, so he's ejected. And Golden State ends up taking game 1. Houston certainly frustrated. Reaction to the report today, starting with a flopping Steve Kerr. Watch.
Hang on. Jeez. Foul.
Sucks that is the narrative coming out of it, because we literally could exhaust our energy on that as well. So, what are you going to do about it? Hopefully game 2, it's about the game.
They said Steph fouled you with about 1:10 left, which would have fouled him out.
Oh.
2, they said Draymond didn't foul you on the last shot. Your reaction to those?
I don't have a reaction. No. Don't know for us now.
You know, we just watched the tape upstairs. You don't think there were 10 calls that we thought we got fouled? I mean, this is how it goes. And every coach in the league will tell you the same thing. You watch the tape and you go, man, that's a foul, that's a foul. It's the nature of the game.
Okay, Michael Wilbon just finished PTI, but sticking around for us with this topic. Thank you. So there's a lot there, Michael. And I know you saw the NBA's 2-minute report today as well. What's your biggest takeaway from everything?
Sage, my biggest takeaway is I want everybody to just shut up and play game 2.
I agree.
But that's not going to happen. And the fun we have on an off day is dissecting all this, right? The back and forth. I know this from being at the game and in the aftermath of it. The Rockets are serious. This is not a put on. They're not acting. They are offended. They're upset. They feel that they lost points, tangible points, because of the airspace issue. And, of course, the Golden State players are saying, wait a minute, sometimes you had guys float 3 feet, meaning James Harden, and he doesn't get that airspace. And this is contentious. It's subjective. We're not going to know. There are going to be calls that are missed. 2-minute reports chronicle missed calls. There are missed calls every game,
Yeah.
Regular season and playoffs. And so now, who's right, who's wrong? Sage, I don't know. I know sometimes James Harden floats into somebody else's airspace, and sometimes he comes straight down. And we're going to have the same contentiousness over those situations tomorrow night in game 2.
Yeah, so that said, you were at that game. You've covered this league for a really long time. And I think the natural question is, do we see this carry over into game 2? Do they get some calls because of what happened in game 1, right or wrong?
They may get a couple of those, and they may not get the benefit of a couple of different issues. I mean, there's no way to know, and there's no way to know how aggressively. First of all, will tomorrow night's crew call it the same way as Sunday's Game 1 crew? Likely not. Have there been conversations with New York about this very issue again? Likely so. But I will say this. This is not new, Sage. You mentioned quite correctly. I've been covering this league for a long time, and I know it was so entertaining in series, say, for example, with a certain Coach Riley and a Coach Jackson, when they would go at it in the off day about what their laundry list of missed calls were that have impacted their teams. And I'm sure this goes back to, Red Auerbach and whoever the Celtics were playing in that day and time. This is not new. And this is what coaches do to try to gain an advantage for their teams going into the next game. Do I think this is going to get a major advantage, a major boost for the Rockets? No. But the Rockets are thinking if we get 1 or 2 more calls in a game that's that close, that will be worth Mike D'Antoni and the Houston staff, the executive staff, fighting for. That's what they're thinking. But you know what they got to also do? They got to figure out how to deal with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry in the meantime, and that's not going to all come down to officiating.
And if Kevin Durant keeps playing the way he is playing, then you're right. I don't know if any of this matters. But this is one of many reasons why everybody wanted this rematch from last year. Investigation reopened in the Tyreek Hill case. New details on an unusual next step the league could take to keep the Chiefs receiver away from the team. Plus, after being replaced by Kyler Murray and traded by the Cardinals, Josh Rosen explains how he went through the NFL draft for the second straight year. He explains from his new home in Miami. Plus, we welcome back PTI. Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon debate which team is in the tougher spot after losing game 1, the Sixers or the Bucks. We're back.